folks, and welcome back to Fishing with Den. Well, this is just a quick one today. A few weeks ago I was doing a video on Wagler fishing when I mentioned a homemade Wagler adapter. Now you've probably all seen this type of Wagler adapter, which is just a piece of silicone rubber with a swivel in the bottom of it. And what you do is, if you've got a float like this with just a peg, you just push it on like that, and that gives you a means of putting it on the line. Now, my own particular one, which I've got today, I'm using in a match, is this one. Let me come a bit closer for you. Now, as you can see, it's a very similar looking thing in some ways. It's got the silicone, and it's got a clip on this one though, rather than having the swivel. Now normally what you would have done, when I was showing you how to set up in the past, you'd have threaded your line on through the swivel here, and that would have been the way to do it. But I wanted something different, because some of my floats have eyes on the bottom and some of them just have a peg. So for those with a peg, as you've just seen, use this. Those with a ring or an eye, you can use this. And all you do is take it off and then put this one on. Now, I won't put it on because I am fishing at the moment, so I'll just put this one back on again. And as you can see, it's as simple as that. What isn't quite so easily readable though is the fact that this is locked in place. If I move it a second, right, so there we are. And it is actually, as you see, locked in. It is movable like that, up and down, so it makes it very, very versatile. And what I generally do is I put one or two shot just below it, because that's the bulk. Now this particular float happens to be loaded, but if this is that other little Wagler here, this unloaded float, this is 3.5 AAAs, so I might well have 3 AAAs immediately under the float. Just gives me a nice easy way to change things around, and also make the float stay in exactly the right position a lot easier. Also, if I hold it like that, you'll see, there we are, it actually holds the shot away from the float slightly, so it does do away with tangles to a large extent. And as for the rest of it, that's all the same as normal, just going down to the hook. So, to put it on, literally, I just move this a second, all I do is just push down and pull. There we are. So that's the whole thing removed, apart from the silicone rubber. And all it is that's just a piece of hollow tube plastic that you buy in the model shops. That's part of a clip swivel or a link swivel, or in some cases it's called a snap swivel. Now this particular plastic must sink, and obviously this does too. And this is actually, for those of you who are a bit older, this is actually valve rubber from bicycle inner tubes back in the day, or the valve for bicycles inner tubes. So I went and bought this at a very old-fashioned shop. I bought about 5 meters for hardly anything, and this will now probably last me for the rest of my life. All I do, just wet that, push it in all the way, right to the top, and there we are. That's it. So, if you're interested, I'll show you how to make them now. So here we are, back in the workshop, and let's show you how this is done. I'll just angle the camera down so you can see what I'm actually doing. And first of all, let's talk about what you need by way of equipment. This is the valve rubber I mentioned before. It's actually quite a thick walled tubing, and I think I probably did mention that if you do go and buy this from a bicycle shop, you're probably going to need to go to one which has been established for quite some time. The newer ones probably won't have it, because this is the stuff which they used to use on cycle inner tubes back in the day, and this used to seal the valve on the inner tube. You're also going to need some of this plastic tube. This is hollow, and you get that from a model shop, and here's the one I got. This is 2.4 millimeters, and it does sink. The other thing you're going to need is some line. I like 15-pound line. I don't think it matters really what brand you're using. This is just some line I had lying around in the cupboard. And you're going to need one of these clip swivels. And to put it all together and make it safe, you're going to need some glue. I would use this gel super glue. It does seem to work better than the runny stuff. Okay, let's crack on. First things first, I'm going to cut off a section of tube, and in fact I have actually cut one off previously, and it's about 3/4 of an inch or 20 millimeters. It's not critical. Once you've cut it off, and I just used a craft knife to do it, once you've cut it off, just go around the edges and make sure you've rounded over any sharp bits. And then what I also do is I just get the end of this and just clean out the inside like so. So that just aids the line going through. Having done that, cut off a piece of silicone tube, again either with the craft knife or with the scissors, and make that just a fraction longer than the plastic itself. Now, with the swivel, the link swivel, here it is, I'm just going to cut this off. So I've just got the clip part, like so. So now take off some line from the spool, something like 30 centimeters or so, around about a foot, not critical. And then thread on the clip swivel. Sorry, the clip, not the swivel. Okay. Now what we've got to do is to thread these two ends through the little piece of plastic which we just cut. Now, sometimes it's better if you put one end in first and then the other one, because they don't tend to stay together too well. There we go. Okay, pull it down so that, not that that's tight, just give yourself a little bit of slack in there, and that's how you need it to stay. And then just tie a simple overhand knot in the line and pull it down towards the base of this piece of plastic. Now, in order to get this accurate, what I tend to do is I just use a little baiting needle, put it into the loop and then pull down against it. You can see now this has been pulled in. Don't make sure it's not too tight, but by then keeping the pin, or the needle rather, down there, you can now draw that forward. There we go. And you've got everything assembled. Just a question now of pulling tight and cutting off these ends here. Cut them fairly close to the knot. And that's pretty much the device assembled. What I have found is that with this 15-pound line, in the past I have had other occasions where it's come apart, and also it's just allowed this to move up and down a little bit. So what I do now is I pull it out as far as I can, then just get a dab of super glue all over it and just pull that back in. I'll just grab a tissue, take off any excess, like so. Make sure it's pulled back that way, that's it, and then allow it to dry. So there you are then, folks, a cheap and simple but very effective Wagler adapter, which means you can now change your floats very, very quickly, but also have your float locked on the line that way. And that's it for this one then. As I said, very short video. Hopefully you can make some use of these, and I hope you enjoyed the video as usual. If you did, click the like button. If you want to subscribe, you can do that too. Until the next time, bye for now.